Hello everyone, my name is Trent and welcome back to my J2ME development series. Today I will be teaching you how to work with audio. Now, before I begin, I want to make a disclaimer that audio doesn't work in the same way for every device. So some devices might be able to do WAV files and MP3s and MIDIs and tones, while some might struggle with MIDIs and tones. So you're not gonna get 100% compatibility with this, and you might have to cater to your device more specifically. Now, to begin with, we're going to go into our main canvas.java, which is basically going to be the same one as last time, except we've basically deleted everything that goes ahead with works with the little square that we had in there. So we don't have the movement code, we don't have the drawing code. So now that we have all of that defined, we are gonna first start by doing a few imports. It's just going to be this. I'm gonna copy and paste this. It's javax.microedition.media, javax.microedition.media.control, java.io.io exception, and java.io.inputstream. All of that. And the first thing we're going to do is just make a simple void to play a tone. So we're just going to do public void play tone. We forgot the brackets here. There we go. We have to surround this in a try catch loop. So we're gonna do try catch exception e and a few keys. And then we're gonna go ahead and do a manager dot play tone. Misspelled manager there. Firstly, we have to give it 3 arguments to this: the note, the duration, and the volume. So this is quite easy. We do a tone manager dot c4, 100 for duration and 80 for our volume. Oh, actually I got confused. It's actually tone control. There we go. And now this function will play a tone, but before we can actually do that, we have to call it. So in our update screen, we're just going to go ahead and put she.setColor to black, and then we're gonna tell it to draw a string, just like this. And then we're going to use our code that we made in last video, and we're gonna do keys. Let's say num key 5 dot pressed equals true. Then we can actually just call our function. And if we run this, we should be able to hear a tone. So that's great, but just a simple tone is not really enough. So now we're going to do play MIDI and play WAV, which are going to be which are going to be quite useful. So to play a MIDI, this is going to the first thing we're going to do. We're just going to go ahead and go public void play MIDI. And here we're going to need a few things. Firstly, a player, which is going to control all of our music playing. Now, some phones can have multiple players, whilst others can only have one. It really depends on the phone, and it's not going to be the same for everything. So we're going to continue. Again, a try catch exception e, and here exception E. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to write input stream is equals get class parentheses dot get resource as stream. Here it auto completed. And we're going to give it the name of our file. In this case, I've already put else's files here, but you have to put the files on the resource folder. So the name of the MIDI file is Song.mid, and then we're going to go ahead and go up make and define our player, which we are going to do by simply writing player equals manager. We got an A there. Manager dot create player is, and then the kind of audio we're going to be giving it, which, because we're going to do a MIDI, is going to be audio slash MIDI. And then we can just tell the player to start by player dot start, and then we can just close our input stream dot close. Input stream equals no. Now, we can also, if we want this to loop, we can do a player dot set loop count, and we can give it -1 if we want infinite loops, or any of the number if we want a finite number of loops. In this case, I don't want it to loop at all, so we're not going to give it a player dot set loop count. And now we're going to go back onto our update screen. We're going to add another key to do the MIDI playing. Let's say 2. We're going to do play MIDI. There we go. Let's say press 2 to play MIDI. You can go ahead and press 2. Oh, I forgot to move it. We're going to have to go ahead and move it by 20. There we go. Now we should see the both two text. Yes. You can press 2 and it should load and play the MIDI file. It takes a while to start up. It's not really because anything in relation to the program. It is actually because the MIDI file itself has a silent part. But as we can see, that works. And now we can go ahead and make our play WAV. So to play WAV, it is actually quite similar to playing a MIDI. We're just going to copy and paste our MIDI code and change MIDI to WAV. And of course, firstly, we're going to have to change which file we are loading. It's going to be kaboom.wav. And here, instead of audio slash MIDI, we do audio slash x slash WAV. And there we go. That is actually all we need to do to play a WAV. We're going to go back onto our update screen and do if key pressed 3 play WAV. We're going to copy and paste this. Let's press key 3 to play a WAV. Oh, yet again I forgot to move it. Just move it again. There we go. That looks better. So now we can play a WAV by just simply pressing 3. It's just a simple sound effect. Another thing I will have to mention is that because these phones have not a lot of memory, you're gonna have to be careful with the size of your songs and all of your sound effects, because if you get too overboard, you're just gonna get in trouble. So now we can finally go ahead and do a final one, which is going to be a little bit more difficult. This, of course, is going to be playing a sequence that we defined ourselves in the program. So this is a little bit harder, but it's not that hard. So we're going to first go ahead and do a public void play tone sequence. There we go. And we're going to need a few things, a few bytes, right? Firstly is going to be our tempo. We can set this to just 30. And then our byte for our length, the length of each note. I've got to set an equals. We're going to call it L because it's going to be shorter, and you'll see why in a moment. And then we can go ahead and do a byte D, which is going to, this basically means length, and this means double. So we're going to just do 16. And now, for the keys, we are going to go ahead, we have to define each key individually. It doesn't have any pre-made definitions for the keys, so each key has to be defined individually based around C4. So byte C4 equals tone control dot C4. Now, there you can add up to 67 to make the highest pitch note possible, and you can subtract 32 to make the lowest pitch note possible. If you try and add more or subtract more, you're gonna get in trouble. So now we're just going to copy and paste this because it's gonna be quicker. So every time we add minus or plus, we're actually just telling the, imagine a piano, right? Let's piano, sorry, paint. You got your little piano here. We got this here, this here, and this here, this here, and this here. This key here is C4. This is C4 sharp, if not mistaken. I believe that's how you say it, right? And this is D4. So if we want to advance to this key, we have to add 2. And if we want to advance from this key to this key, we just have to add 1. Simple as that. Now, there are a few things we need to know about tone sequences, which is that we can define, we first have to do a byte array, sequence, and we're going to give it this, put a colon there, and now we have to define a few things. This works basically this takes 2 bytes for each thing, like each note takes 2 bytes, each variable takes 2 bytes. You'll understand soon. So the first 2 things we have to take over, is tell it which version we have and the tempo. So to do that, we're gonna do tone control dot version, comma 1. This is just a list, basically a list of bytes, but it's going to read this and make it into a song. tone. Now we have to define our tempo, which is going to be done by which is going to be done by writing tone control dot tempo, and then our tempo, which is going to be 30, just tempo. You could also just define it here instead of having the variable, but it's easier this way. And now we can define a block. So a block is a series of notes you can easily play. So instead of having to repeat a bunch of notes a lot of times, you can just put them all in a block and call that block. So we're going to do tone control dot block start, and then which block this is going to be, which is 0, and then another comma, control. And now we have to start defining our notes. In this case, we could begin to just copy any song. In this case, I've got Twinkle Little Star, which would be A3 slash comma normal length, but I don't think it's going to be very fun to watch me manually copy all the notes, so we're just going to copy and paste this. Remember that it's basically a note followed by its length, and then another note followed by its length, and so on and so on. Then we just do tone control dot block end, tone control dot block end, and then 0 to tell it that the block 0 ends here. And then we basically have to do the same thing, but for block 1. And we're going to copy and paste again the notes for this block, which is going to be this. And then we actually have to go ahead and tell it which blocks we want to play and in which order. To do that, we just do tone control dot play block, and then 0, and then we do this again to play the block 1, play block 1, and play block 0. There we go. Now we defined every single thing about this sequence, and now we have to actually go ahead and make a player to actually hear this. So yet again, we can do a try followed by a catch, exception E, and a few keys here. And here we have to do a player equals manager dot create player, manager dot put a comma there, manager dot tone device locator. Now we just do a p dot realize, player dot realize. I think I misspelled. No, I forgot the parentheses. And then we can actually go ahead and do a tone control equals parentheses tone control player dot get control, get control, and then just tone control. We can do a c dot set sequence, a control dot set sequence as just our sequence. sequence. There we go. And we can do a player dot start. You can get again, we could do the things with the loops, but since I only want this to play once, this is going to work. Now we can just go ahead and do the same thing we did for play tone, play mid, and play well. And we can just add up text here at 60 this time. Press 4 to play a sequence. And we just copy and paste this, change this 3 to a 4, and we just do play tone sequence. Press 4. So that's Twinkle Little Star. Anyways, that's basically it. Now there are a few things left that I haven't told you, which is that you can actually do a volume control. Okay, so to do that, we're first gonna make a declaration. We're just gonna do volume control VC. There we go. Semicolon. And then we're gonna have to decide which of the two things we're going to control the volume of. In this case, I feel like the MIDI is the best one to control. So we're going to do VC equals volume control player dot get control, and there we go, volume control. I accidentally misspelled that. There you go. And now we can do a VC dot set level, and we can say 100, which will sound exactly the same. We can hear it. We don't need to hear it anymore. And now we can actually go ahead and change it. We can set the level to just 10. And now we can see it's much quieter. And also we can do one last thing before we go, which is going to be repeating the sounds. Because, for example, the WAV is more of a sound effect, so you will want to play this a few more times. So we're gonna have to do a few more things. We're gonna have to declare our player class here as a global variable. So we're just gonna do this. We're going to change the name, of course, to WAV player. We're just gonna do that, semicolon. We're going to replace this and this. But remember to remove this. If you don't remove this, it's not going to be the global class. Now we take that. We change our start with a prefetch. If we don't do this, it won't work. So we got that. And now we can go ahead and just load this on startup instead of when we press our button here. So we're just going to do on start. We're gonna do a play WAV, which actually we should probably change this to we should change this to load WAV, but I don't think we have the time to do that. Or we can just change this. We can remove it and do a WAV player dot start start. There we go. And we have to, of course, surround it with a try and catch. And there we go. Now we can actually run this. Or we can play it. Oh, sorry, I was pressing the wrong button. 3. And we can see it plays it just fine, no problem. Anyways, that's all we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye bye.